Welcome to Proof Live, where booze brands in the right hands. On a quest for the best tipple and toast with the most exciting and respected bottlings. Competing for the 100-point perfect score Century Award and the double gold and a spot on the top shelf to be sipped, shaken, stirred, and celebrated. Slide up to the bar with the biggest names in the spirits game as they clink glasses with your hostess, legendary connoisseur Jennifer English, for intimate conversations, live tastings, product launches, and the happiest hour there is. Now, broadcasting live from the commodious confines of the Swanky Proof Saloon, where the liquid elite meet, here is your hostess, the Madam of Manhattans, the Duchess of Daiquiris, the Queen of Conviviality, your hostess, James Beard Award winner, Jennifer English.
I have got a secret that I'm going to share with you. It's a 100-point Century Award-winning stunner. Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer English. I'm the editor-at-large of Food and Beverage Magazine, and I am the host of Proof Live. One of the best things about the annual Proof Awards is that it introduces us to extraordinary new products that have been created by really talented people. And I have a secret. You don't know what's here, but I do. And we're going to taste it and discover it and disclose it and share it and sip it and toast with it in just a minute with its owner and founder. But how rare is it to find something that wins a 100-point Century Award? Well, extremely rare. The statistics are that in these categories, we had so many entries and very, very few won double gold. Even fewer still, those rare few won the Century Award. I love introducing you to these products because in their own right, they are completely irresistible and they're going to change the face of how we sip. And this one, well, frankly, it surprised me and it knocked me out. As I've mentioned many times, I am a native New Englander. I am a proud Bostonian and blueberries run in my blood. The blueberry muffins from Jordan Marsh Bakery, well, they were legendary. Blueberries in season and blueberry buckles, blueberry pies. I was weaned on the flavor of blueberry. I went picking blueberries, hunting for blueberries, and I've been eating blueberries to my lip-stained delight most of my life. I like to think I'm an expert on the flavor of blueberry. But it is so often misused as a flavor in commercially produced products that you can't automatically just say, I love blueberry, and let it go. Some things like pumpkin spice are so distinctive that you could use them in almost anything, and it never really tastes like a real pumpkin spice. So the difference is because blueberries are just this wonderful flavor, you have to work really hard to capture the essence of blueberry. And my friends at Skunk Brothers have. This is the blueberry cordial, the blueberry cinnamon cordial to be specific. It won a 100-point Century Award at this year's Proof Awards, and joining us now, the genius who created this remarkable flavor, my new friend Scott Donahoe is with us, coming to us from the tasting room and the Prohibition era speakeasy style saloon that they have at the Skunk Brothers Distillery, but more importantly, he's in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, where blueberries, like in New England, are abundant and flavorful and delicious. This, if you can't tell, is my love letter to the beautiful blueberry flavor of Skunk Brothers Blueberry Cinnamon Cordial. That's a whole other conversation we're going to have in just a minute. What's a cordial and how are we sipping it? Well, we're going to use this beautiful meat glass. Scott, thank you for coming. Well, first of all, thank you for making this.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed making it.
I wasn't aware that such a miracle could exist. Congratulations on winning the 100-point Century Award at the Proof Awards this year. Would you talk a little bit about how you found out and how you felt when you learned that you'd won the highest honor there is in the distilling industry?
You know, it's kind of funny. I didn't even I hadn't even considered sending it in. One of my employees said, "You have to send this," and kind of wrangled with me a little bit, and I said, "Okay, I'll go ahead and send it." I didn't really think much of it. I mean, I love the flavor and everything, but I didn't think that it was something to send in for an award. And so when we did, and when my good friend Lenny Goddard told me that we had potentially won a pretty nice award, I was excited. I was really shocked, actually. And then when I found out what it was, wow, I was blown away. That was really I was really thankful for it. That was really nice. So I'm excited.
This is utterly irresistible, magical stuff. What on earth did you do to conjure this into this glass? How did you make this? I mean, I'm blown away. I realize I'm gushing, but come on, tell me, how did this happen? This is amazing.
Well, I love pie. I have a sweet tooth, and I really enjoy the flavor of blueberries. I like all of the fruits that we have available out here in the Pacific Northwest. We're in what they call the Fruit Loop out here in the Columbia River Gorge. So there's all kinds of fruit that we have access to. But I really wanted to make something with blueberry, and 'cause like I said, I love the flavor. And I tried a few things, and as you know, being a blueberry lover, some years blueberries are really sweet, and some years they're really tart. And my first couple of batches came out, pretty good, but I was still looking for something. And then when we got a nice tart batch of blueberries, we juiced them. We just added some sugar and a little bit of corn whiskey, and that's what we ended up with. And so we decided to run with it.
Will you talk about what a cordial is?
Yeah, it's to me, and if I may be wrong on my definition, but to me, it's an alcohol with a higher fruit and sugar content, with a less proof content, so less alcohol content. And it's more for I think people mostly consider it a after dinner sipper, or something to add as a garnish to other alcohols or whatever, which is definitely part of what I do. I usually mix it into an old fashioned, but it's very much a sipper and sort of a dessert kind of thing, like a port.
Well, you make this in small batches. You use local blueberries. You're obviously already in the distilling business, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But one of the things that's very interesting is on the proof side, the world is very agreeable to not just going in the hyper-proof end of the spectrum. In fact, we're really all paying a little bit more attention to a lower alcohol by volume, or the proof number. And your Skunk Brothers Blueberry Cinnamon Cordial is about 17.5%. I forget exactly the number. But what that means is it's going to fall somewhere between, a wine and a spirit. And it's actually much more on the wine end than the spirit end. We talk a little bit about how important that is at this moment, and how important this is in the development of these cordials.
I like things that are not going to kind of knock you over with too much alcohol. It's something that you can sit and enjoy, and you don't you're not worried that geez, I can only have a couple of these. And don't get me wrong, I do like my nice stiff drinks once in a while, but I think right now the way people are, the way things are going with 2020 and 2021, I think people are more apt to sit back and relax and enjoy a glass of wine or a glass of port right now. And as far as our stuff, I've been making the lower proof cordials year round, just because I like something that I can sip on and enjoy, and it's not, it's nothing over the top, and that's just kind of how I've been.
One of the things I have to compliment you on, well, I have to compliment you on many things, but one of the things I have to compliment you on about this is, as a pie lover myself, this is like the greatest blueberry pie flavor I've ever tasted. I wish I could find a blueberry pie that tasted this good. You yourself just mentioned you were a blueberry pie lover. When did you know that this was this perfect? Was this the first batch you've made of this, or is this an evolution come to fruition?
Yeah, that was an evolution a little bit. I had tried, like I said, one year I had nice big fat blueberries that I thought were going to make this amazing flavor, and it came out a little bland. The next year it was a little too tart, and so I messed with the flavors a little bit. And I kind of incorporated a few things that I hadn't tried before, and it came out really well. One of my friends, I said, well, what do you think if I added cinnamon to it? And they're like, yeah, put cinnamon in there. That'll be like a cinnamon pie, or a blueberry pie with cinnamon. And I said, okay, I'll try it. A lot of our stuff has cinnamon in it, so I was a little hesitant. And yeah, when the flavors came together, that was exactly what I was looking for. One of the things we do is we macerate blueberries with this. And so it's soaking in blueberries. It's got the skins, it's got everything in it until we filter it. And, I think that gives it that complexity. A lot of the flavors come from, just having those whole blueberries in there with it. So now you don't have any whole blueberries in this now, but I tell you, the blueberries that come out of it when they're done are pretty good.
I bet they are. Listen, yeah. I want to take a sip with you. The flavor of this is just incredible in the nose. I mean, it really smells like you've just sliced into a beautiful blueberry pie. Do you distill this and then blend it? Is that how we get that flavor, the maceration? And then does it spend any time in wood, or is it just the cinnamon that's mimicking that sort of wood love? Yeah,
it's just the cinnamon. And wow. What I do is actually I blend it up, and I blend it with corn whiskey. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't, kind of shocked when they hear that. But our corn whiskey, like I think most people's, it's kind of underappreciated. It takes on the flavors of things that it's mixed with very well, and it complements them. So in our case, the blueberry cinnamon came out, complemented that little bit of earthiness of corn whiskey, and it just was phenomenal. So I've tried it with other types of spirits, and even blueberry brandy. And at this point, bar none, the blueberry with the corn whiskey came out amazing. And so, I figured I'll stick with it.
I have to tell you, when we're talking about something that this is this delicious, it was surprising and it was delicious. It was like a Michelin 3-star pastry chef and a distiller got together to create this. It has a very fine quality to this, as though it were wrought with the most exacting pastry chef standards, because all of the sweetness, everything is so beautifully amalgamated and balanced and lovely. And yet it's clearly a mastery of the distilling arts. I mean, this really is just such a masterpiece.
Well, thank you. I wouldn't consider myself a masterpiece.
Honestly, though, this is like sipping a painting for me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I try to make what I like. And I figure if, I'm a foodie, so if I like it, other people are going to like it. And boy, I couldn't be happier with, you're enjoying it. That's really what I want to do with this whole thing is make something for people to enjoy. And, this is, the pinnacle right here. So thank you.
I think you've just completely revived the cordial category. If this isn't the opening shot and salvo in a coming boom time for these kinds of sippers, I don't know what is. Tell us a little bit about Skunk Brothers. We've only got a few minutes left, but I want to give you the chance. How long has the distillery been in your family?
Shiner back in the day, in the 20s, 30s, trying to keep the family fed. And our family's pretty rough and tumble, Scotch Irish, up through into Oregon and, through Tennessee and Arkansas and Oklahoma and up into Oregon. And we're kind of from the backwoods, and, the moonshining is a little bit in the blood. So I heard stories my whole life on granddad. My granddad died before I was born, but I heard, his stories about, bootlegging and doing, being sneaky and everything. And of course, Dukes of Hazzard was really popular when I was a kid. So, oh man, I was just, I was in love with it. And so a lot of experimentation later, I ended up becoming a distiller. I was a firefighter have been a firefighter for 28 years now. But making beer, making spirits is kind of my thing. I just really fell in love with it.
Michelle Tell, who is the founder of the Proof Awards, says your brand blew everyone away. Congratulations on winning Most Innovative Spirit of 2020 by the entire, and that was no small feat, the entire Proof Awards distinguished panel of beverage buyers and judges. I was there that day. I was very happy to lead and chime into this conversation and say this is head and shoulders. I don't know how many things can be as unanimous as this was. this was a stunning victory.
Well, thank you. I have to give credit to the blueberries as well. It's, I mean, every batch is going to be a little different, but the blueberries really kind of made it. And boy, it was a real surprise, really pleasant to hear that we did well. I was shocked. So thank you.
Well, the other thing I have to mention with that whole category is this idea that, beautiful things speak for themselves. And everybody in the world has blueberries. Everybody has sugar. Everybody that's in the distilling business has a facility. But, you and your team, you were the ones that came up with this. And this to me is just a master stroke. It makes me wonder, what else do you make?
I make a lot of stuff.
Reading about it.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of ADD for making spirits. Any fruit that we get out here in the gorge, I try to make some kind of cordial with it throughout the year. So usually we offer those seasonally, peach, pear. We have an apple pie, traditional moonshiners thing. And then I like my corn whiskey and I like my bourbon. So those are some of the big things that we make. Apple pie, cinnamon whiskey, but we've been focusing a lot on bourbon, and then I love to focus on the fruits during the summer. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to take one small sip here with you. Let's talk about the richness and the sort of velvetyness of this. Do you think that this is a distinctive cordial in the realm of cordials because of its just mouthfeel and its velvetyness?
I feel like people really appreciate that about it. So I think that makes it distinctive. I actually have some favorite cordials, from folks here in Washington State that I really enjoy. And they kind of inspired me to try to do this. Whidbey Island Distillery, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, out of the San Juan Islands. They do some amazing stuff. And I wanted to try to make something that kind of had that mouthfeel and that pleasantness that they do. And so that's why I really played with the consistency and and everything. And boy, I tell you what, it came out so well. It was really exciting.
Would you tell us a little bit about the other products you make?
Sure. I started out making just a straight corn whiskey. I wound up blending in some cinnamon with that and ended up becoming a cinnamon whiskey that is super popular, and an apple pie that was, again, a traditional apple pie that most people would make, in their kitchen, like making a Kahlua. However, as far as spirits that I love Scotch and I love bourbon. And I always heard stories from my friends and from the old timers that made moonshine about peated whiskeys, or about smoked whiskeys, I should say. So they said their bourbons came out smoky after making bourbon over a wood fire. And I thought that sounded so intriguing. So we actually did a smoke jumper bourbon whiskey, is what we call it. It's a peated bourbon whiskey this last 2 years, dedicated to the smoke jumpers that jump into fires or wildland firefighting. So I made that, and when that came out, that was fantastic. That just blew me away. I'm more of a purist when it comes to whiskeys and aging and everything. But again, that my friend Lenny told me about one of his buddies back east in North Carolina that ages some spirits through a rapid aging process, and I was like, I'd never try that.
Let's go through the product line. We've got it up here on the screen. I hope you can see it. Well, they're your babies. You know what they look like.
Yeah.
Talk us through what we're seeing here on the screen.
Okay. Well, so here on the left, you got our hand sanitizer, which we started making right at the outset of the COVID outbreak. I'm a firefighter, so there was a lot of people in need of hand sanitizer at that time. And I started making it and, kind of getting it to emergency responders and stuff. So that's that. We still have a lot of it left, if you want some. Our apple pie is the next thing you're seeing there. That isn't, like I said, a traditional apple pie. It's 85 proof, but it is apples, honey, cinnamon, brown sugar, and that's about it. And it's
calling that a brandy though, not a cordial.
Not a cordial, yeah. It's 85 proof, and it's It's got a kick, and it's more of a, we use a brandy base for it. So that came out, really nice with the brandy base, kind of brought out those fruit flavors and stuff. So I just call it a brandy. But yeah, that was one of our more popular things first starting out. And, I was doing that because as starting a distillery from scratch, I was trying to, these are the things I knew. And of course, we needed to start bringing in money to keep the business going. So that was one of the first things I did.
Let's go to the next line here, because my engineer is someone who's served our country and has traveled all over the world. And of all the things he's ever commented on our show, he said those look yummy. So yeah. when you get somebody who doesn't always chime in to chime in, that's a good thing. Are there any other cordials in the line?
Yeah, in fact, there was one that you just passed. Yeah, honey pear cordial. It's actually it's over here on the right side. Yeah. We produced last year. Launched it here in early December, I think it was November, December, and it sold out in a couple of months. So we're in the process of making more. Yeah, that was a surprise when my girlfriend has been pestering me to make it for a long time and to put it out on the market. And boy, was she right, that took off. So, and the cinnamon whiskey, it's kind of an answer to, I talk to people a lot who love the flavor of cinnamon, who were big, fans of cinnamon whiskeys, but, had a bad experience with it once. Again, I mixed cinnamon with our moonshine whiskey, our corn whiskey, and it was, just a hit. So it's worth trying. I'm sending you a bottle of that as well.
Well, I want to show you, coming back to the cordial category, this is a long-standing tradition, and I have here a bottle from our library archive collection. This is a bottle of Bacardi Elixir Cordial. This dates to, some people have told me, the 1940s, 50s era. So that's 50 or 60 years old, and there was a cordial tradition at one time.
Yeah,
I absolutely think that you're going to be reviving this in a big way. It's just a great category, lower alcohol by volume, sipping at the end of the meal, a really beautiful digestive tradition. Fantastic.
Yeah, I see it be a thing now. Yeah, I mean, just sitting back and having some kind of a nice dessert at the end of a meal, I think that's a really nice tradition.
But I have to say, from the Pacific Northwest, I would love to try this with some of those incredible cheeses, especially those really pungent, bitey kinds of fun, funky cheeses that come out of the Washington and Oregon area.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's a guy that...
and by the way, Michelle also chimed in and she said that honey pear sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised by that too.
Hey, listen, I meant to ask you, is there, given the longevity of the tradition and then the roots in the moonshiner's art, this is about as refined a sip that could come from that tradition. I mean, it's about as far away from what we imagine moonshiners to be, but that's your roots and it's legit. And I wanted to know, what is a toast that Skunk Brothers shares in that beautiful saloon of yours when you have something as exquisite as this to clink your glasses with?
Somebody quoted something for us once, and it's here's to the movers, the shakers, and the mischief makers. And I enjoy that. It's people that are willing to get out there and take a chance and do what they love. And it's usually those, what is it, the well-behaved person is usually the most interesting or least interesting person you have, right? So we get out there and we try to stir things up a little bit. And so, yeah, that's our thing.
I'm going to tell you that you've got a brand ambassador in me. You don't have to put me on the payroll. You've already earned my admiration. And I would like nothing more than to Johnny Appleseed this around the world, because it is just that remarkable.
Well,
of course, we're talking about, here it is, these Skunk Brothers, Blueberry Cinnamon Cordial. I can't compliment you highly enough and thank you enough for coming and making time to be with us. I know you're starting to get into fruit season, and I know that it's also really busy where you are, but to take a 100-point winner and come spend time with us. Our Century Award winner and winner of the Innovation Award. I can't pay you a higher compliment than to say thank you very much and keep making this liquid art that you make.
Well, thank you. And I also have to thank my crew that's in here, my nephew and all my friends that are helping us out too. They do all the work and they make it fun. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, cheers.
Cheers to you. Thank you.
Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, The Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
Need a push getting your spirits, wine, or beverage brand into the hands of consumers? Interested in winning medals like a Double Gold Award? Proof Awards 2020, the ultimate beverage competition, can help jumpstart your brand into the hands of beverage buyers. Enter the Proof Awards. Be a part of the Proof Awards marketing campaign with our partner, Food and Beverage Magazine. All of our judges are buyers, and that's what sets our awards program apart from the others. Our judges head the beverage programs for restaurants, bars, nightclubs, casinos, liquor stores, big box retail, and national wine and spirits distributors. Your brand will be tasted by buyers from more than 15 states across the U.S. We have hundreds of categories to choose from at www.proofawards.com. Be seen by 12 million readers with our partner, Food and Beverage Magazine. Get tasted and rated by buyers. The 2020 Proof Awards competition is open for spirits, wine, and beverage brands today. Proof Awards 2020, moving brands into the marketplace. www.proofawards.com.